Let us pray. Creator God, on this day of celebration we give thanks for the rich inheritance we have received in this university and for the opportunities of study and research, for the blending of cultures and the sharing of experience and learning, and for families and friends who have supported us in the long journey towards our goals and to share in celebrating our achievements this day. Bless those who journey forth from here to their different places and countries of work. May they use their newfound wisdom and skill for the relief of suffering and the conquest of disease. May they use their gifts of knowledge and compassion to bring health and healing to those in need, building up the health care of all humanity. We give thanks for all our graduates. May they find great happiness in all that they do, and may the world be enriched by their generous giving in the service of others. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. Please be seated. Welcome to this afternoon's graduation ceremony. This is the last of the summer graduation ceremony, so hope you enjoy it. But before I start, I have to say thank you to the chaplain who said these prayers for all graduation, but more importantly, the weather has remained dry every time we have either come in or gone out. So thank you, chaplain. She's the world's greatest chaplain. Principal, you too. But can I ask you, please, to address the assembly?
Thank you. Chancellor, Deputy Lord Provost, graduands, honorary graduand, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to start by welcoming you all to our graduation ceremony in this, our 50th anniversary year. We gained our status as an independent university in 1967, after a long association with the University of St Andrews. 50 years on, I think both sides would agree this has been a fortunate separation, which has created two world-class universities and formed something of an intellectual Gold Coast here on the east of Scotland. And I can confirm that we are still very much friends. I had a brief stop at St Andrews while doing my charity challenge last week. That event was part of our 50th anniversary celebrations. In her speech greeting the cyclists from Dundee, St Andrews Principal Professor Sally Mapstone wished us well for the next 50 years. To which I responded by wishing St Andrews well for their next 600 years, that being an anniversary they marked recently. But this emphasizes one critical difference between us. Since gaining our independence, we have had to make our mark quickly, and we have done so, to the extent that Times Higher Education ranks us as the best in the UK and in the world's top 20 of young universities, those aged 50 years or under. In the face of increasingly fierce competition from around the world, that is notable recognition. Our 50th anniversary is something we are marking with events throughout the year. A recurring feature of these for me has been the chance to meet with many of our alumni, your predecessors, who too have sat in their robes in this hall over the past 50 years. And what has struck me time and again is how proud they are of their university and the affection in which they hold their time in Dundee. On visits back to the campus, and we have welcomed hundreds of them in recent weeks, there has also been much reflection on the changes they see around them, on campus and across the city. For those who were here in the late 1960s, there is obviously a lot that is different. But the same applies to those who were here just 10 years ago as the landscape around us continues to change. And you will have seen this too in your own time here, I'm sure. Most obviously in the central waterfront of the city, where we see the V&A Museum of Design rising on the banks of the Tay. And what a magnificent building that is, and when it opens next year, I think it will be a cause of great celebration. It isn't just a fine building, it's a symbol of the changing times in Dundee and the new confidence that the city enjoys. It's also a project which originated here at the university, and it is just one that I think epitomizes a very important point about where we came from and where we are heading. In his address to visiting alumni at our chaplaincy recently, Eddie Small said that the most important part of our name is the word of. He went on to remind us we are not just a university in Dundee, we are the University of Dundee, a community within a community. We take pride in being where we are and are committed at all times to making a difference locally, using our global reputation to bring benefits to the city. We're critical to the local economy, contributing £750 million every year to Scotland, and standing as a major employer and a crucial focus for innovation and investment. We're a social and a cultural hub, linking researchers with the community across our many disciplines, creating events that draw thousands of people onto campus and into the city. Graduation, of course, brings many visitors. And recently, on Wednesday night, we had a fantastic in-conversation evening with Alan Alder, one of our honorary graduates, that brought more than 700 guests into the university. And this year's annual degree show at Duncan of Jordanstone College of Art and Design attracted 15,000 visitors in its opening weekend. We attract people, students and staff from around the world to Dundee. Many of the nationalities across the 140 or so countries our community is drawn from will be represented in the hall today. And we're a more international institution than ever before, with record numbers of applications to come and to study here. And I believe this creates a diversity on campus that enriches our community and culture and that of the city. And we will continue to be international in our outlook. We are also committed to improving equality and fairness, providing the best opportunities for everyone in our wider community. Our record on widening access to higher education in Scotland is unequalled. Our annual Access Summer School celebrates its own silver anniversary this year, and in that time has helped more than 2,000 students into higher education. They are people who may not have been able otherwise to obtain a university place, in many cases through no fault of their own, due to the circumstances of their upbringing. And in all of this, I think you can see the influence of our central mission to transform lives, locally and globally, through the creation, sharing, and application of knowledge. The 50 years that have brought us to this point have provided plenty of challenges, but also many startling achievements. Over those past 5 decades, we have pioneered innovations as diverse as flat-screen technology and keyhole surgery. Many of the satellites and shuttles launched into orbit have circuitry designed and built here. Our translational biomedical research underpins global efforts to tackle cancer, diabetes, and tropical diseases which kill millions each year. We've become one of the world's leading centers for forensic sciences research. And from Turner Prize winners to political leaders, activists for social change to captains of industry, our alumni are transforming the world and the way we look at it. And we are ambitious to do more, to take our university into the next 50 years with justifiable confidence. Earlier this year, I was lucky enough to accompany colleagues on a visit to CERN in Geneva, site of the Large Hadron Collider, the largest scientific experiment in the world, capable of replicating conditions which last prevailed naturally at the very dawn of the universe. We were there to discuss collaboration arising from world-class expertise in laser technology in our School of Science and Engineering. It's yet another example of us taking a seat at the table with the very best in the world, creating research with impact, but also opening opportunities for students, giving you the chance to experience the forefront of knowledge and human understanding. Our achievements are driven by the strong sense of community that exists in the university and across the city. You will have experienced this yourselves as students here, and I hope you continue to feel part of it as graduates. That sense of community is something that is at the heart of our approach, and it's what makes Dundee unique. And it's by harnessing the strengths of our community that we can do even more. And working in partnership with Dundee University Students' Association is a vital part of that. It has helped us create a student experience that is consistently rated among the very best, underpinned by students being participants in all the university's important committees, helping to plan for continuing success. And yesterday, we had further confirmation of the quality of teaching and the wider student experience that we can offer. We've been awarded gold in the Teaching Excellence Framework, the highest standard in this major assessment of learning and teaching at UK universities. And the staff and the students who've worked together to achieve that ranking have done a fantastic job and deserve our applause. And now you have all played your part in creating that community, and I thank you for that. You have helped set the standards we have reached and fueled our ambitions for the future. I hope that in years to come, people here will be talking about your achievements and that you will be sharing your own warm reminiscences of time spent at the university. So as you cross this stage today to receive your degrees and then step out into the world as a graduate and ambassador for the University of Dundee, I personally and the whole university community wish you the very best for your future. Thank you.
Thank you, Principal, for that inspiring address. Thank you very much. Now, before we start the graduation ceremony formally, those that are graduating in medicine have to go through a very important ceremony of taking an oath, not just for today, but the rest of your life, not just professional life. And you do this with the thousands of witnesses in the hall, so you should never forget it. So to administer the oath, I invite Professor Mary Scott from the School of Medicine.
Chancellor, before the medical graduands are presented, I will ask them to assent to a declaration that they will maintain traditional standards of professional conduct. So will the medical graduands please stand? I solemnly promise to use, to the best of my knowledge and ability, the art and science of my profession for the good of those under my care, and to make the preservation and restoration of their health my constant aim. I shall keep secret anything I see or hear in my practice that should not be divulged. I shall constantly endeavour to improve my knowledge and skills within my profession and to share useful discoveries with my fellow practitioners whom I promise to hold in fraternal regard. These things I shall do for the benefit of those whom I seek to serve and for the honour of the profession that I now join. Do you make this promise?
Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you for doing that. can I now invite Professor Gary Myers, Dean of the School of Medicine, to introduce the graduates.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the degrees of Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery and Master of Science, Janie Girardon. Hannah Laurie. Lucy Littlejohn. Jonathan West. And for the degree of Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery, Siti Malia Abdul Aziz. Kerry Adrain. Anand Alagapan. Katrina Anderson. Morgan Anderson. Philip Anderson. Maeve Armstrong. Christina Baird. Mariam Barmer. Ewan Barrick. Caitlin Bartrop. Erica Bates. Ruth Bennett. Ian Bertram. Judith Bingham. Rachel Bordley. Georgia Boone. Kirsty Boswell. Helen Boyd. Kieran Boyle. Jack Bradley. Rachel Bruce. Adam Campbell. Gareth Carmichael. Karlok Chang. Benjamin Chiang. Hanji Eric Chang. Siobhan Chien. Yu Chin. Hazy Chun. Callum Clark. Vary Clark. David Claxton. Hannah Coburn. Josh Cuthbertson. Barry de Sainte-Croix. Ailey Deer. Julia Diamond. Philip Dixon. Alistair Doak. Kate Doak. Cal Doherty. Daniel Dolan. Matthew Donachie. Luke Dornan. Laura Douglas. Rhoda Downey. Sean Dignan. Andrew Duncan. Crisanto Espana. Louise Fagan. Elizabeth Ferris.
Elizabeth, special congratulations to you, because I know when you started medicine, you were not in the wheelchair. But unfortunately, an illness hit you that put you in the wheelchair. But you didn't let that stop you. And you got a Wimberley Award, which is awarded by the university for somebody that with the highest achievement. And you achieved a lot, particularly in promoting sport for handicapped people. And the Dundee Dragons that you established for sports. You do such fantastic things. You are an absolute role model. Congratulations, Doctor.
James Fidges. Christopher Fong. John Bruce Fife. Christopher Gall. Stella Gallagher. Marianne Gallagher. Chen Yin Gan. Catherine G. Gayrish. Victoria Gilchrist. Orla Gilmore. Jack Gordon. David Gorman. Kirsty Grant. Rebecca Grant. Catherine Greenough. Joanna Harper. Saoirse Henderson. Tisha Ho. Amy Hudson. Lewis Hughes. Ian Hindman. Robin Idle. Hilary James. Rory Jardin. Shabana Jayakumar. Adrienne Jennings. Kathleen Kelly. Rona Kilpatrick. Valerie Kim. Shui Lei. Holly Lamont. Jamie Leask. Dennis Lee. Maylin Lee. Pei Ling Lee. Saoirse Lennon. Katie Lim. Su Pin Lim. Zen Pai Lim. Jennifer Livy. Victoria Livy. Jessica Lockhart. David Peter Lynch. Zoe McDonald. Jane McRae. Lee McRae. Barry McTeer. Kaylee McGee. Ellen Mainprize. Ian Maltman. Christina Manson. Lucy McAvoy. Michael McCann. Aaron McClatchy. Ethan McCloskey. Ross McCord. Joanne McGinley. Laura McQuiggan. Catherine McElroy. Paul McLean. Kirsty McNeil. Megan McTiernan. Yvonne Milne. Lena Mohammed Zardin, Mary Therese Monaghan, Ryan Murphy, Adib Nassan,
shake hands with him. He's the fourth generation, the fourth person in the family doctorate, and his father is a member of the staff. That's
Connor.
your third son to graduate in medicine. Third son. No imagination. Huh?
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Connor Nicol, Yevedso Untuli, Ziming Ong, Chiasun Oi, Michael Overend, Christian Palmer, Jennifer Pate, Paul Patterson, Claire Pearson, Thomas Pedersen, Leo Pope, Sean Redfern, Robert Reed, Nada Reza, Ewan Richardson, James Robertson, Lois Robertson, Emily Rooney, Katie Ross, Lauren Ross, Jeffrey Rudston Brown, Joshua Ratnager, Sasha Sadiq, Cameron Semple, Heather Shepherd, Claire Simpson, Grace Singleton, Rebecca Smith, Jessica Smythe, Zishain Fatima Somji, Ailsa Stewart, Rachel Stone, Krishna Subramani, Ian Swan, Joel Tae Jun N, Po Tan. Zi Chu. Jessica Thompson. Zach Thompson. Helen Toner. Philippa Trail. Ruth Trimble. Nicola Trotter. Sean Villagis. Catherine Watson. Kit Yen Wong. Kaylee Wood. Jen Dao Ying. Inan Zhu. And for the degree of Bachelor of Medical Science, Hanna Sarafilovic. Michael Smith. David Allen. Callum Forsyth. Erin Frizzell. Thomas McConkey. Terry Meloff. Claire Waugh. Kieran Burgess. William Clackett. Patrick Scollan. Sophia Tohaska. Danielle Cunningham. Laura Meny. Alex Christmas. Eleanor Cohen. Mark Lowes. Christine Orr. Mark Price. Lucy Turner. Adelaide Fisher. Michael Lumsden. Noel Ribera. Alice Willison. Fiona Chatterton. Lauren Devers. Louise Dodds. Zoe Douglas. Caroline Hazel. Jennifer Steen. Charlotte Collison. Jenny Houston. Neve Hughes. Katie Lewis. Morven Miller. Gillian Miller. Ruth Moan. Matthew Feeney. Chi Gan. Axel Laurel. Martin Mitchell. Alexander Shuttleworth. Ronald Stewart. Melissa Bremner. Ben Callahan. Louise Cox Thompson. Callum Macmillan. Samuel Penrice. Laura Thompson. And for the postgraduate certificate in medical education, Alice Arch. Jordan Napier. Antonia Reed. Ahmed Salam. Nabil Sammons. Fiona Young. Sylvia Valacina. And for the Master of Medical Education, Khalid Busaidi. Zuhair Ali. Abdulaziz Al-Othman. Fiona Crichton. Alistair Graham. Seema Kazim. And for the Master of Orthopaedic Surgery, Sangram Belagodu. Shahid Latif. Nabil Mohammed. Potsambang Singh. Koteshwara Viranangam Dam.
Sevda's here.
Okay. And for the Master of Public Health, Sevda Merchiva. Stacey Warden. And for the Master of Science, Mohammed Najibuddin. Ajaro Kotisfaki. Ummei Sumya. Lin Wang. Jennifer Adams. Mark Addis. Vivian Barnett. Kirsty Callahan. Claire Davidson. Laura Kerr. Vanessa Lindors. Navin Mistry. Adela Negu. Louise Prentice. Amelia Retkivich. Carolina Spack. Holly Thompson. Alexandra Willis. And for the Doctor of Medicine, Matthew Lambert. And for the Doctor of Philosophy, Alana Burns. Callum Forteith. Ravichandran Iyer. Andrew Kidger. Yazaman Malekadazadeh. Paula MacDonald. Rachel McPhillips. Janice Rowland. Andrew Sampson. Moniza Siddiqui. Laura Torrent Fernandez.
Thank you, Professor Myers. In case you were wondering why one good-looking lady got a hug, because she looked after my work when I wasn't there, and I trained her. So it was nice to see her graduating again. And I'm sorry I teased you about how many members in the family with no imagination. Having a family with 9 doctors, I could understand that. So it's now my pleasure to ask the President.
Chancellor, I have the honour to invite you to confer their degrees in absence upon the candidates who have been unable to attend this ceremony.
By the authority of the Senate, I confer these degrees.
Now, I referred in my speech to the idea that the university was the University of Dundee, and that's reflected very much in the strong relationship that exists between the university and the city, represented here on stage in the various ceremonies this week by various members of our City Council. We had the new Lord Provost Ian Borthwick for some of the ceremonies. We've had the Deputy Lord Provost for others, and a councillor on one occasion. So I think it's really important that, that this relationship exists at the highest level, is very much mutually supported in many different events throughout the year. And I'd like to thank the City Council for all that it does on behalf of the university. And now, a very important responsibility, not the responsibility that each of you will hold as you go out into the world to conduct your professional careers, but the responsibility of the final degree ceremony of the summer, 6 ceremonies. This is the last. You have to provide the best send-off possible to our 50th anniversary graduation celebrations. And to do that, you actually just have to continue in the same vein that this whole ceremony has been conducted, with you cheering, supporting your friends and colleagues, with your relatives and friends in the back of the hall and on the balconies, joining in, with the occasional baby letting out cries of support, I'm sure. All of you can join in, and the idea is to condense all that noise into the next 30 seconds or so. Not with polite applause, but with cheers, whistles, stamping of feet, and any means of noise making that you believe is legal. So, can I start the proceedings by offering my personal congratulations to all of you. Well done, everybody.
That's the last time you can behave like that in public. It's now my pleasure to invite the Vice Principal for Learning and Teaching, Professor Carl Leidecker.
Chancellor, I have the honor to present for the Chancellor's Award for Outstanding Contribution to Teaching, Professor Rami Abood.
As Chancellor, it is my utmost pleasure to give you this Chancellor's Award, to award you this Chancellor's Award for outstanding service to teaching and learning. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you from the University for doing that. Did you teach them?
Some of them.
He taught some of you, right? You enjoy that. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now my pleasure to invite Professor Gary Myers again to present the honorary graduate.
Chancellor, I have the honor to present for the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa, Mr. David Cunningham. David Cunningham is the Chief Executive of Archie, a Scottish charity established to make a big difference to local sick children and their families, and which is now an organisation transforming the healthcare of some 200,000 children every year. His work in this role may be most familiar to you through the work of the figure on the screen behind us of Ur Willie. No one who was in Dundee last summer or who passes through the foyer of the University Tower Building or Nine Wells Hospital, or indeed many other locations around the city and beyond, can have failed to notice these statues and the huge amount of attention that they generated. More of them to come, but first back to David. David is no stranger to graduation ceremonies here in the Caird Hall, having sat where you are today and crossed the stage to receive his degree in psychology as a member of the class of 1999. I'm sure he has many reasons to have fond memories of his time as a student here in Dundee, including being an active and prominent member of the Students' Association and reaching the exalted position of president. David's connection with the university didn't end when he graduated or stepped down from the president's role at DUSA. His early employment included working in the university's events office, helping plan graduation ceremonies and garden parties, so he is very well aware of the kind of work that goes on behind the scenes to bring this important occasion together. David went on to join Archie in 2008. In the years since, using the skills of organizational capability and attention to detail, compassion, diplomacy, lobbying, and perhaps even occasionally not so gentle persuasiveness, skills for which I hope his education at the university can take some credit in developing, he has built the organization from a local charity to one with growing global reach and impact. Archie is now a group or family of charities working together to achieve greater impact through shared efficiencies and coordinated care. Its global reach has increased, and now every year Archie impacts on the healthcare of thousands of children. The foundation does many things, but their activities include buying specialist equipment, supporting families, creating amazing hospital environments, enhancing staff training, funding research, providing specialist staff, and responding in emergencies. Having made huge differences in northeast Scotland, Archie took the lessons learned from here to East Africa. As Archie Global, it is now a leading groundbreaking work with the aim of providing life-saving access to safe surgery for 5,000 children every year by 2021. This part of the charity has been responsible for establishing operating theatres in countries where no such facility has previously existed. Operating theatres have been opened in Kampala and Mbarara in Uganda, a country with 22 million children under 16, and the work continues. This month, a children's surgical suite will open in Blantyre in Malawi, and at the end of the year, a twin operating theatre will be created in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. This huge investment in children's surgical care has resulted not only in obvious benefits to the children population in those countries, but also in retention and upskilling of the surgical workforce in these countries, as well as improving the prospect for recruitment. Whether through these high-impact, high-profile funds or through the highly specialist neonatal work of Friends of the Special Nursery, or the much-loved toys sent to children in hospitals by Fairy Box, or indeed the growing chain of Archie cafes run by the charity, which mix nutritious, affordable food with subtle health promotion information, David has led the development of one of Scotland's most successful and life-changing charities. You can see from all this work that Archie is clearly transforming lives, something which chimes very strongly with our own university's core mission. As well as his role in Archie, David is a key player in UK charities more broadly, being a board member of the United Kingdom's fundraising regulator and a member of the UK Standards Committee for Charities. He chaired the Scottish Charity Standards Committee from 2012 to 2016, and following widespread criticism of the sector in national media, he was appointed to chair the UK-wide task force investigating fundraising practices in 2015. And so back to that cheeky chappie Ur Willie. Archie is now the official charity of the Tayside Children's Hospital. Their goal is to raise $2 million for a brand new children's theatre suite. This will help provide world-class operating theatres and all the associated services here at Nine Wells Hospital. It will allow children to be taken out of the current adult operating theatre environment into dedicated theatres which are child-friendly and aim to reduce the anxiety for children undergoing surgical procedures. The level of public support for the Tayside Children's Hospital, spurred on by our friend Wooly, has been staggering. Wooly is, of course, the famous cartoon character from the DC Thomson comic strip. With his trademark spiky hair, dungarees, and an upturned bucket, which he often uses as a seat, he is a Dundee celebrity. The 70 statues of the famous character, each one colourfully crafted and stunningly individual style by local and international artists, from the Tim Peake-inspired Astro Wooly to the Ur Bowie in memory of the music icon David Bowie, became star attractions across Dundee. More than a year in the planning, the trail was the largest mass participation public art event in the city of Discovery and brought joy to families who searched out every single one of these sculptures around the city as part of the Bucket Trail last summer. David recalls an example of one such family with a very poignant moment which occurred while he was working as one of the team at the Ur Wooly farewell gathering last September at Slessor Gardens. Inconspicuous in terms of his role within Archie, the Archie organisation, wearing a high-vis jacket and shorts, he was approached by a lady pushing a wheelchair, in which sat her clearly very disabled son. She asked him if he was involved with the organisation of the event. Expecting a complaint, he replied with a cautious yes, at which point the lady thanked him, saying that it had been the only thing that would get her son out over the previous few weeks and had given him immense pleasure. He reflects that even for just that one moment, the whole thing had all been worth it. When it came to time to auction them off, I don't think anyone could quite believe the response. An amazing $883,000 was raised on a very emotional auction night at Dundee Rep. David is modest enough to remind everyone there was a large team who helped make this happen and who are continuing to push on with the fundraising. This is absolutely right, and we should all greatly applaud the efforts of all involved. But it is clear that David himself is responsible for leading this and the activities of Archie across Scotland and into Africa. He is an outstanding example of the impact our graduates can have on the world and to transform lives. He is an inspiration to us all. Chancellor, I have the honour to invite you to confer upon David Cunningham the degree of Doctor of Laws.
First lab. You haven't first. By the authority of the Senate, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Laws. Congratulations, David. And welcome to the University of Iraq. Thank you so much. Hang on. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you. Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, Deputy Lord Provost, Student President, of course, honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen, fellow graduates. It is 22 years since I first arrived at the university as a wide-eyed undergraduate. I never imagined all these years later I would be standing here sharing today with you now. Thank you for this great honour, which I humbly accept on behalf of the many great people I work with here in Scotland, across the UK, and our projects and partners overseas. Class of 2017, congratulations, you did it. Those watching from the sidelines today are not able to be here for a multitude of other reasons, always believed that you would. It dawns on me that I stand before you now somewhat straddling a boundary of what has been and what is now about to come. Behind many of you, a life of structured education. Ahead of all of you, a world of opportunity. Opportunity to make the world a much better place. If we had all day to talk, I would embrace the opportunity to warn you of what I believe is the hidden epidemic sweeping across the developing world. That epidemic being a lack of access to safe surgery, and it affects up to 5 billion people across the globe today. I'm proud of my own team's work in this field, but our capacity to grow beyond the provision of those 5,000 operations a year is limited not really by funds or hospitals, but by the lack of surgeons and anaesthetists and all the other healthcare professionals that go into making surgery work in low and middle income countries. In other words, you. If we had an hour or two, then I'd talk about the staggering importance of dealing with pediatric patients properly. How your interaction with them as children may well shape their future willingness to present at a GP clinic as adults with that lump they've found or that persistent cough that just won't shift. The way children experience healthcare now affects their views of healthcare when they are older. And I'm proud too of my team's work in this field, which this year will impact on nearly 200,000 children, but our capacity to have a lasting impact is ultimately limited by the doctor, the dentist, the nurse, the other healthcare professional who treats them. So as we have just a few short minutes, and as it appears you are rather important to the future success of my own work, I thought I'd focus on you, and if I may, give you 3 quick tips that I think might help you as you embark upon your professional careers. Firstly, enjoy what you do. Don't worry if there are parts of your work, particularly over the next couple of years, that don't excite you. You're simply going through a process of finding the things that do. Keep going. Secondly, try to surround yourself with people who will support you and build you up, not break you down. I have learned that surrounding myself with those inclined to be why not people and not why people makes almost anything possible. Those whose first response is no or why, I've found to be hard work. You don't need that in your life. My final and most important tip is to ask you to look after yourself. In a room with this many professionals, far more than you can possibly imagine will suffer from times of poor physical or more likely poor mental health. I think of your health like crossing a river. We all approach the river at the same time, but some get lucky. They have a bridge to cross and they saunter over without problems. Others will walk in the shallows, the current only occasionally tugging at their heels. Others, meanwhile, find themselves having to cross at the deepest parts. They didn't pick that part of the river to cross, but it's the crossing they need to make. So to those of you who will find yourselves facing deep water for those of you find themselves facing deep water at different times in your lives, I tell you simply that you will get to the other side. Keep going, accept all the help you can, but keep going. To those of you who find yourselves lucky enough to be on the bridge, lend a hand to support. Chancellor, I would like to end by expressing my sincere thanks, firstly to my family who are here today. My parents, Mum and Dad, who instilled in my brothers and I an exceptional work ethic as children, and to whom I am forever grateful. To my very beautiful wife, Claudia, I am so proud of everything you have achieved, now training to be a consultant yourself too. This seems a long way from the student union where we met. And to my children, Orla and Lucas, I think you guys are awesome. You inspire me to do more and to reach further every single day. I could not be more proud of you both. Secondly, to the university, I will remain forever grateful for this honor. And finally, to each of you, you have achieved something truly amazing. So now go change the world. Thank you.
Stay there, stay there. Thank you, David, for those fantastic words. It's a real pleasure and an honor and a great deal of pride to see one of our own in such a short time achieve so much. So thank you for coming. I know you feel quite honored and excited, but you mentioned your family, Lucas and Orla, and your wife, Claudia, who's a dentist,
Yes.
doing a PhD,
Yes.
and your father, George, and your mother, Moira, who are all here. So thank you and welcome to you all. What I was going to say was Lucas is more excited than anybody else about you getting this award, because he tried on the Vice-Chancellor's robes earlier on, and he eyed up mine, but he wasn't getting mine. So he's made a promise that one day he will get it.
Good.
So all of you are most welcome, and thank you very much. Now that's the end of the formal part of the ceremony today. But I'm going to take a couple of minutes today to say something. First of all, I'm going to start with the principle. Is my microphone still on? Don't cut me off. Our principal has an ambition to make this university the leading university of Scotland. Now, if you define by my definition principle, we are. It's working. We seem to be going from greater and greater honors each week. And yesterday, as you mentioned, we awarded the gold for excellence in teaching. Of course, the medical students know that for many years now, the GMC has awarded us the best medical school for undergraduate teaching. And that our medical students, when they graduate, like you have today, are more prepared to face the clinical world that you will now face than any other medical school. We have achieved we are, as I said, a leading university of several years running in Scotland. We are the top 200 universities in the world. We are number 3 in life sciences in the world for the size of life sciences. We are leading in research output by our citation record. We are leading in research output by the amount of grant money we get, and many, many other things. And all that in 50 years of being a university. So this is the last summer graduation of the 50 years. Now let me tell you about me. I arrived here 59 years ago to study medicine. I didn't graduate as the University of Dundee, but I never studied anywhere else but Dundee. And I thought, when I see you coming up and looking so excited about being a doctor, I remember my days when I sat in one of those rows, yes, in this hall, 53 years ago, and graduated like you. I don't know if I have a picture of that. Yes, there it is. How could girls not fall for that? To prove to you that it was Dundee, the next picture might tell you that. That's Belmont Hall. I stayed there in my last final year. Of course, I think your hood is better color than in those days. But we were all, as you can tell, young and excited. Now you graduated today, and you have lucky because you'll always have a job. Doctors always have a job, unlike some others who have to work hard. So congratulations. And I'm so proud of this university and what is achieved. And I, as a chancellor, when I do the graduations, always feel that the whole university, every member of the staff, works for me. They attend to my need. In fact, they do more than that. They attend to my want, which are actually many at times. And I'm ever so grateful for that, and I thank all the staff. And what we forget is why this graduation runs so smoothly. Because the graduation office works so hard. The people that usher you and make sure you're in the right order, even when the presenter forgets the names. So it's Kieran and Gary and Yvonne from the graduation office, and Leon and Peter and Giles and many, many others that it'll be too long for me to mention the names. So thank you to all of them. So have fun, enjoy your life. I wish you success, but most of all, as the chaplain mentioned in a prayer, I wish you happiness, because that's more important than anything else. Thank you. And now we'll have a choir, our fantastic choir, to give us a song.
Appendix, anemia, embolus, embryo, eczema, jinx, jokes, empathy, atopy, allergy, autism, autopsy, arthroscopes, infarction, infection, induction, injection, inspection, palpations, phlebotomy, mumps, bicuspid, bipolar, bigenomy, biceps, teratogenic, testicular lumps. You must say things like dysdiadochokinesia. You can say things like the patient's unable to clap their hands quickly together while turning one over and over and over and over and over. Otherwise they'd know what you meant, so you use Latin words instead. So the patients will never discover the meaning behind all the words that you use. Neurosis, necrosis, osmosis, psychosis, intestinal, linguinal, cystic fibrosis, lordosis, kyphosis, PE, halitosis, electrosis, aortic stenosis, dyspeptic, dyslexic, dementia, depression, paralysis, parasite, scleropellagra, angina, andrology, antidote, antigen, ventricle, vertigo, vomit, Viagra. But on the other hand, if they understand the phrases that you see, just confused and bemused by using eponymous names like hunters and gators and moles, and turners and Brownsy cut. If they understand that acronyms are twice as hard. You need a BCG, ECG, ECT, EEG, PET, CBT, HRT. Hematocrit, hemorrhage, hemorrhoid, heparin, hand, foot and mouth disease, maxilla, axilla, macula, popula, spatula, scapula, spermatogenesis. These are the words that are used. But surgeons, of course, are excused. We can't have them getting confused.
Graham. He's so shy, he wants to run away all the time. But he's the most fantastic person who not only organizes the songs, etc., right? But plays the organ, plays the piano, and you do a fantastic job. The whole of the choir is fantastic singers. So thank you for the last 3 days that you performed all of the graduations. So thank you very much. And thank you, Prayer. Please take a bow. Your voices are absolutely fantastic. That's the end of it. Oh, principal says he doesn't know about it. So please, can I ask you to be upstanding? I declare this academic ceremony closed.